Hello and welcome to this lecture. In the previous lecture, you learned how to implement different types of conditional statements, and in this lecture, you will be learning how to evaluate multiple conditions within a single if condition by making use of the and or logical operators. Let's get started with the and operation. To take a quick review of the and operation, an and operation needs both of the conditions to be true in order for it to return the result as true. So for example, I can have a condition 2 less than 5 and 10 greater than 7. So 2 is less than 5 and 10 is greater than 7, and I get the value true. Now in order to understand how and works along with if, let's take an example. From the previous example, let's take total marks and assign it with the value 95. And let me have another variable and call it percentage of attendance and assign it with the value 93. Now what I want to do here is to evaluate that my total marks is greater than 90 and also evaluate that the percentage of attendance is greater than 90. I do that by using an and operation within an if condition. So I write if my total marks is greater than or equal to 90 and my percentage of attendance is greater than or equal to 90. And we provide an indentation and then print this following statement, which will be executed if both my conditions are true, which is you are a very disciplined student. Let's see what the execution of this if condition would give us. There, you are a very disciplined student. So what happened there is the total marks was greater than 90 and the percentage of attendance was greater than 90, because of which both the conditions got evaluated to true and my if condition returned true. Now what if one of the conditions were false? Say for example, let me reassign my percentage of attendance to say 60. What then? Let me copy paste the same condition and execute it to see what happens. As you can see, there is no output. That's because the second condition of my and operation failed and the if condition returned false and it failed to execute any further. The next operation which we will be looking at is the OR operation. Now to quickly review what an OR operation does, an OR operation needs just one of the two conditions to be true in order for it to return the value as true. For example, let me have a false condition 2 is greater than 5 and OR it with another true condition, say 10 is greater than 7. Now this is a false condition and this is a true condition. Now since one among them are true, my output will be true. Now let's see how OR works along with an if condition. Now let me take an example of a fruit equal to apple. Now what I'm trying to do here is, in my if condition, I will be checking if my fruit is an apple or a mango. Now in order to do that, I have my if condition where I check if my fruit is equal to mango. The double equal to stands for comparison. Another way how you can perform comparison in Python, and this is the more Pythonic way, is to use the is keyword. So I check if my fruit is mango or my fruit is apple. And then I have my print statement and I print I love that fruit. Now let's see what the output of our execution will be. The output is I love that fruit. So what happened? The name of my fruit was apple and my if condition first checked if the fruit is mango. Now this is false as my fruit is apple. So in the OR condition, I have a check to see if my fruit is apple, which is true. And since one of the two conditions are true, I enter my if condition and it prints the statement I love that fruit. Now what if my fruit was something else? Say my fruit was strawberry. So what would my output be then? Let's print the same condition and see what the output will be. So as you can see, I do not have an output, and that's because both the conditions failed and the if condition did not evaluate to true, because of which we did not have the print statement executed. So that's the end of this lecture and this section on conditionals. Let's have a quick review of what you have learned in this section. We started this section by discussing what are conditional statements. They are a block of statements whose execution depends on a certain condition. And then we looked into the different types of conditional statements available in Python. The first type of conditional statement is the if statement. So what does an if statement do? It checks for a condition, and if the condition is true, then the statement under if gets executed. In this example, we assign 100 to a variable distance, and then we check if the distance is equal to 100. Now double equal to is a comparison operator. It checks if the operand at the left hand side is equal to the operand at the right hand side. So since distance is equal to 100, we get our output as distance is 100. The next type what we looked into was the if-else statement. So what does this do? In case your if condition fails, the block of statements in your else section gets executed. So in this example, we assign 200 to the variable distance, and then we check if the distance is less than or equal to 100, which is false. Now that this if condition has returned false, the block of statement in the else section gets executed, which is to print that the distance is greater than 100. The next type what we checked was the if elif else. So what is this if elif else? Elif stands for else if, which means if your if condition fails, you're making another if condition check as a part of your else statement. Let's take a look at this example. So we assign a value 200 to the variable distance, and first we check if it is less than or equal to 100, which is false, and then we check if that if condition is false, make another if condition check, else if, check the distance is less than or equal to 200, which is true, and our output of the program will be distance is less than or equal to 200. Now in case even if this statement had returned false, we have a final else statement in which our execution would have been distance is greater than 200. But in this case, since the distance is equal to 200, our output would be distance is less than or equal to 200. And finally, what we checked was the nested if statement. And what is a nested if statement? It is an if statement within another if statement. So for example, we assign a value 50 to the variable distance, and then we check if the distance is less than 100, which is true. Now that the evaluation of if has turned true, it enters the block of statement in if, where another condition is being checked. Another if condition is being checked, where you're checking if the distance is 50. So you're making an if condition check within another if condition check, which is called a nested if statement. So that's the end of this review. In the next lecture, we will be implementing a program in Python which will make use of conditional statements. I'll see you there. Thank you.